Jupiter transit Jupiter, and we're gonna speak here about the conjunction and the trines because these are the aspects you're really going to feel from Jupiter. And this transit happens rarely, it can happen once in 3 4 years or more. And what happens then? It can last from if it's one hit that Jupiter makes to Jupiter, it can last anywhere from about 10 days to up to 7 months. And of course, this is when Jupiter makes the transit 3 times to its natal position. And of course, this will be when you really feel the influence of Jupiter. But even if it does it one time, this is what you can expect happening psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and on the material level. Well, Jupiter symbolizes. Jupiter rules one's faith and optimism. One's believe in themselves and believe in the meaning of life. Jupiter is the planet which makes you feel that everything is as should be, that you're on the right path. It gives you meaning, anchors you on the path where you are, even if difficulties are happening in your life. When Jupiter aspects Jupiter, you will feel this is the right thing to happen. For instance, I can give you an example when Jupiter aspected my Jupiter, when Jupiter aspected my natal Jupiter, which was 3-4 months ago. And I remember on that exact day, and it was altogether a whole 10-day period that this transit lasted, but a lot of things would go wrong, but I had such strong inner belief within myself that this is the right thing to happen. We would be late for the plane, and instead of getting all stressed and negative that I'm gonna miss my flight, I kept the inner faith that this is how it should be, that is the right thing. And of course, every time something would go wrong, at the end it would turn around in such a way that I would find out that it was for my best, because even though I was late for the flight, it turned out they put me on a first class direct flight rather than 2 stops flight where I was supposed to go. Then the room in the hotel where I was supposed to go, they didn't have the room I wanted. And and instead of going all upset, this Jupiter transit kept me having inner faith, and I knew that something better would come out of it, so I got given a much bigger room. And there were like 7 or 8 such instances within this period. And if it's at any other time of your life, usually the person would get frustrated, would start worrying, would start feeling angry or upset. But while Jupiter is aspecting your Jupiter, whether by conjunction or by the trine aspect, this is the period when you will feel intrinsic meaning and a feeling that it is as it should be, it's perfect, this is how things are supposed to be. Or you have even people who are not religious or spiritual, they'll start finding in themselves some kind of a awe or some kind of a inner meaning in their life or connection to something spiritual, and the feeling that there is a bigger consciousness and power directing their life, that there is power bigger than themselves, higher power which is all-knowing. And even if you're not so religiously or spiritually minded, there'll be a more inner calmness within yourself and inner feeling of sense and purposefulness and optimism and faith. So for the more worldly people who are not so spiritually inclined, what they'll feel is inner faith and optimism that everything's gonna be okay no matter what. So it's like a cornerstone for your faith, for your beliefs, for your trust either in your own self or trust in a higher power. It can be, or trust in whatever you're doing that it's going to turn out well. So this is a wonderful transit which inspires your faith, your optimism, your faith in yourself as well, which gets you closer to God, which gets you closer to meaning in your life. It brings more, it infuses your life and every experience in your life with more meaning, with more happiness. Jupiter is the planet of happiness, because what is happiness? Who is happy? The people who feel that everything they do, no matter what is happening in their life, no matter if there is a war around them or devastation, if they feel that this is the right thing, that they're the right place doing the right thing, this is what real happiness is. And when Jupiter is transiting in Jupiter, you feel anchored, you feel I'm on the right path. I find meaning in this path. Or even if it's not about something so big as being on your path, it's in your everyday affairs, you'd feel the meaning, you'd feel the soaking up of your whole being with a feeling of of benevolence, of tolerance, of kindness, of a feeling of well-being. Jupiter is well-being, it's happiness. So even if you cannot explain why, you will feel that you're feeling happier, in a better mood, more predisposed towards others. And this is a great period to approach others. Uh, because you're in much kinder state of mind, much more brighter, there is much more light coming into your mind. So you can be of help of other people, and you'll feel much more benevolent, of like giving of yourself. And the other thing that can happen is that others can come to you and give you great advice. Jupiter is the planet of the teacher, the person who brings light into your head, who dispels the darkness. So it can be a guru or a teacher in any kind of form. It can be your child coming to you and telling you something that it really shifts your perspective and consciousness and gives you an inner peace or understanding or high understanding for you to see the bigger picture and make the puzzle fit, and which gives you a fulfilling, a feeling of happiness within. Or it can be a colleague of yours, or your partner, or your spouse, or a friend who comes to you in the form of a teacher or a guru, or someone totally unknown, a stranger, who tells you something, who opens your mind in some way. Or it can be your own inner teacher that speaks to you right now, your own inner consciousness, and tells you, helps you to see the bigger picture, to see from above, from a bird's view, the whole perspective, and gives you a much better perspective of your whole life ahead. So it's a great time when you can make plans, long-term plans for the future, because you're much more connected to the truth during this period, much more connected to the bigger pictures. I said you can project much more optimistically ahead without over-exaggerating or over-projecting, or without getting too over-optimistic to a silliness. Actually, it's a very much proper realistic optimism, and a very, you can very much trust your judgment during this period. Your inner teacher, your higher mind, Jupiter is your higher mind, will show you the right path in making decisions. So if you have some important decision to take in your life, and if you see you're having soon Jupiter transit, you can wait till then, because you can be pretty sure that someone or within yourself you'll be able to resolve properly. You'll hear the moral voice, the ethical voice, which will tell you what is the right path to do, and you have a much clearer idea in your head. Yes, this is exactly what I have to do. Even if it's a difficult choice you have to make, Jupiter will help you take the correct one. And if someone comes with an advice to you during this period, take their heed, because Jupiter is sending you its own, its own, like a little messenger to you, to tell you what is the right path to take. Jupiter, as I said, is the guru, is the teacher, and Jupiter is the inner moralness and etiquette. These are the unwritten divine laws. Just like everyone knows that hurting another person is wrong, that stealing, that lying, even though they are not written laws, no one forbids you to lie, or no one forbids you to have unclean thoughts, for instance. And this is the inner voice of the inner teacher. So when Jupiter makes such a positive aspects to its own position in the horoscope, this is when this inner teacher and moral little voice becomes stronger in you. So you're able to make more wiser decisions in your life, because if you follow the divine laws, you always make wise decisions, and you end up winning. You end up going on the right path, even though if there might be very strong decisions which are painful for you, but you have the strength to go with those, to carry on with those during this period, and to see the light and the properness of which decision is the right one. There will be, like, as I said, like lightness of your mind and awareness. This is the right path. This is what I have to do. So it's good even for business decisions, for personal decisions. It's a cornerstone period for the changing and for the infusion of your faith with more faith, of your inner belief and meaning in life with more faith, and of augmenting this. And I often seen that people start having a desire to study something more, to expand their mind, because Jupiter is the higher mind, and it expands itself during this period. So many people can start studying in university or start a course or start studying spiritual literature or Jupiter's foreign cultures, anything which expands your mind. It doesn't have to be only through books or through studying. Usually this is the most normal way to approach this Jupiter transit and that what it brings to you, like learning something new. For instance, when Jupiter made its transit, Jupiter conjunct Jupiter in my horoscope, 9 or 10 years ago, this is when I discovered astrology. And this is when I started studying astrology, and when I felt such inner feeling of confidence that this is the path in life I have to follow. I felt inspired to study that. It wasn't like I went to do it because I had to study something. No, when Jupiter brings you something, you do it because you feel inspired, and this is exactly what will come to you now. You might all of a sudden have a realization what you're supposed to study, how you're supposed to expand your mind, and you can go on this path right now. And believe me, this period ago, like 9 or 10 years ago, when Jupiter did this transit, was one of the most memorable periods in my life, because I remember I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was crying, I was very upset, and I opened one book. It fell in front of me in a bookstore, and I opened it, and the first line that I read is, whoever wants to grow as a person and to know themselves better should learn astrology. And in that second, I didn't know what astrology was, but there was a pure awareness and pure knowledge that I was gonna study and I'm gonna do astrology, And this is what Jupiter moments can bring you, Jupiter transits. All of a sudden, this pure confidence and faith that this is what you're supposed to do, or this is what is the decision you're supposed to do. So it can be a very positive, uplifting period for you, and it can clear up some darkness and some unclarity in your life. And as I said, people might travel more during this period. If you want to travel, expand. And it's not travel just to go shopping or it's travel about expanding a culture, about seeing another culture, learning other habits. When young people go on a gap year, often they'll feel this will happen when Jupiter is or gap year, or travel around the world, or just go on a journey around the world with cultural reasons. They will do it when Jupiter is making a transit to its own position, Jupiter transit Jupiter. And if you're planning a journey, make sure, and if you see that within the next year you have such a transit, or next 2 years, make sure you make a journey somewhere during this period, because you're going to learn so much from this journey. It's going to expand your mind so much. It's going to give you a different perspective, which will help you solve problems in your life, which will help you become a better and bigger person, a wiser person, more moral person, which will bring light and clarity in your mind. So also it's a transit of opportunity. It can bring some opportunity and good luck in your life. Jupiter also rules financial, it rules money in Vedic astrology, for instance. In Western astrology, it's Venus who rules money. Venus is luxuries, but Jupiter is actually the real currency. So you might have some great ideas as well about how to attract money in your life, and even a fluke, or you might have a chance to attract more wealth into your life during this period. Often it might be just wealth of knowledge, but often it can be financial wealth and financial increase during this period. And I can definitely guarantee that this happened when I had Jupiter transit for about 10 days last summer. And you can attract or ideas with which you can attract not only the finances themselves and the wealth, but you can attract the state of consciousness which attracts wealth. So the state of consciousness which attracts wealth is the one of optimism, of believing, of knowing you can achieve it. Then you start attracting. It's the law of attraction. You start attracting those things to you, and Jupiter can give you the idea, the inspiration of how to do that, and the belief that you can get there. So please share with us what happened in your life. Did you start studying something new? Did you get an inspiration during this transit, more clarity, more faith? Did you feel just more inspired and lighter and positive during this period? Did you have a travel? And funnily enough, when I had the transit the last few months, I was also traveling. I was in another country, and I saw this country I was in my own country, basically. It's like traveling for me. And I saw this country through totally different eyes. It's like I was given another pair of glasses, and I was looking at my country through a totally different perspective, and I learned so much. It just bring the perspective higher, and you can look from a higher vantage and gain so much more knowledge and understanding than other times. So please share your stories with us. What happened in your life then for those 10 days, or sometimes it can be even a 7-8 month period if Jupiter transits more than once times its own position. Please help others and tell them what to expect. Thank you.